Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode. Today, we have a crypto tax pro that is going to give a whole bunch of insights for newcomers to crypto, experts alike, tips and tricks on what to expect for reporting your taxes for crypto, and ways that you can very easily alleviate maybe your tax responsibilities and keep a hold of more of your profits. So his name is Joe Reiben, and thank you for joining us, Joe.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
I mean, and speaking of regulations and the requirements for reporting taxes, obviously, in terms of the US, there's been a lot of not so clear rules and announcements. So maybe what's your thoughts on the current tax situation in the US? Like, is it very clear in your opinion, or yeah?
Yeah, if you've ever seen the drink the mudslide with all the chocolate coming down the side and everything mixed up on the bottom, that's about as clear as the IRS is right now. That's my best estimate. They're about 4 to 5 years behind in even reviewing crypto filings right now. Unfortunately, they're operating at a lower capacity based on government budget cuts, things like that, and they are hard to get a hold of normally, let alone for a specialized division. And at one point last year, they only had 10 people working through all crypto tax returns in the US. So they sit in a room, sit in one area. It's kind of like a little call center, and they go tax return by tax return. It's really slow. It's an absurd way to do things when we have all this tech at our disposal. When we have blockchain at our disposal, it's an absurd way to do things. And, they need, yeah, but they miss a lot. That's one thing they miss a lot. So it's really the good faith effort of the people that are reporting that they rely on. So it's one of those things that if you do make a good faith effort and you try to report your taxes correctly, they're not going to come after you. It's those people that have 2, 3, 4 houses, yachts, Lambos, every meme you've seen in crypto, but are true for some people because they've made so much money. And report 30 grand a year, then the red flags go off. Then the alarm bells go off and say, hey, this person's living in Hollywood, New York, Tokyo has all these places and making 30 grand a year. That's your red flag. So yeah. Please don't, the only time you'll get in trouble is when you evade and basically don't report anything. So, that's definitely some of the services obviously we provide and people like me provide is to make sure that you're reporting properly, but not getting destroyed on taxes. It's kind of that balancing act.
Yeah. So, well, you also you mentioned 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 years behind.
Yeah.
Right. And like now I can barely keep up with like flash loans, liquidity pools, and all this other staking and I mean, there's stakes that I don't even know that I'm getting anymore.
Airdrops as well. Airdrops. And
how are they ever going to catch up with 10 freaking people?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that I feel like they're going to have to add more staff and more really, ex-developers, ex-engineers, people that understand the industry. They're not doing that as of now. I mean, they're starting to, but like I said, their budget's so tight. They're not going to pull a developer or an engineer or an insider from 150,000 a year job to work for 40 grand for the government. No one's going to do that. So it's one of those things where they have to build their personnel, have to build their staff, and they have to understand how these cyber systems work. I mean, look at what just happened in the US with SolarWinds. Our cybersecurity team couldn't even stop a huge hack from Russia or wherever it came from. But it's one of those things that until our cyber laws are, caught up to even the average trader and the average platform exchange providing that, that area to trade or that platform to trade on, it's not going to catch up. And you're right. What's come out in the last couple of years with DeFi, Uniswap, Uniswap liquidity pools or other liquidity pools, airdrops. Is it a security? Is it not a security? I mean, they're going after one case at a time, and there's thousands of cryptos out there. So it's a case by case. It's a let's hit the low hanging fruit first, like Ripple was, like Block One was, like things like that. The big companies. But they're so far behind. I don't know when they're going to catch up. That's a great question. So
yeah,
does that make your job easier or much harder?
Both.
The lack of clarity.
Both. The lack of clarity allows us to be creative, which I like. Because it's one of those things where you can reclassify. You know, the IRS has come out with classification guidelines. However, I mean, we're sitting on, cryptos that are commodities, that are securities, that are utilities, that are currency. We don't even have a classification for what cryptos are. So how is the IRS going to, effectively classify them? So it's really a case by case, and that makes my job easier because I can be more creative, but harder because I don't have that structural framework to work with it.
Yeah.
So it's really balancing. It depends on, if you're trading top 5 cryptos, like most casual traders are, it makes it pretty easy. We understand what those are. But heck, if you're trading like just random, cryptos with low liquidity and low book depth and not a lot of exposure to the market, we have to reclassify those and really understand where they come into play. So it's one of those things that gets hard if you're trading 50, 100, 200 different cryptos, at a time, like some more in-depth people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I really feel for the people who want to have that good faith. They want to, declare what they're doing in crypto, but they don't even know how to do it because of these new ways of earning crypto and, how do you classify that? So I guess just to go back to what you said is like, at least put an effort in and not like actively maybe evade because
Correct.
I mean, it's pretty stressful, I can imagine.
Correct. Yeah. The good faith effort is basically what's required of you at this point. And that all circles back to us, as a firm and other firms like us helping out with getting that in order, making sure that's in order, and working with your accountant. I can't stress that enough. Work with an accountant. We're not the accountant to come to an understanding as to where your liability or your gains are, or and it's one of those things that also don't be duped. There are a lot of people in this industry that say they're crypto attorneys, say they're crypto tax attorneys, and have like a year filing experience. Always ask how long they've been in the industry, because if they haven't been in for 4 or 5 years and seen some market cycles and understand how these things progress, they're probably not doing the job right, or they're still learning on the job, and you don't want to be a test case. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Definitely.